Hi everyone, welcome back to TSR Techniques. We're here today with part 2 of our video of replacing a battery on a 1997 Porsche Boxster. In our previous video I showed you how to do testing on the same vehicle. Today we're going to put a new battery in this vehicle as we tested it and it showed that it was bad. First of all, before we even start, we want to make sure that we have our tools and all of our safety equipment laid out the way we're going to need it. I do recommend that you put a cover on the front of the vehicle so as not to scratch it, because leaning over the vehicle, it is a long reach and you don't want to do any extra stuff lifting or straining to get that battery out. So what we're going to start with is we have this cover over the front of the car. We're going to step inside the front trunk. We already have the spare tire out of the vehicle at this time. You step in the front trunk, and then it gives you a nice little seat to sit on, so it makes it a lot better for you, and you're not leaning so far over the vehicle. Now you have a couple choices here. I personally have my own mechanics gloves. I usually only use this when I'm working on oil or fuel systems, but these are latex-free gloves. I recommend you get some, and it's just a nice big box of them. You don't have to buy a whole box. You could buy just a few, I guess, over at the parts store or wherever you want to get them from. On our 97 Porsche Boxster, we have already removed this little cover that goes over the positive plate here. So we're going to set that aside. Our Boxster uses 10 millimeter. This is a 10 millimeter 1/4 inch drive on a 1/4 inch drive ratchet with a swivel head. The first thing we do is we always take off the negative side first. And the reason for taking off the negative side first is if you try to take off the positive side with the negative side still connected, and you accidentally touch something that is metal, it's going to shock you or zap it. And you don't want that to happen. It's really bad on electrical systems and computers if you cause extra sparks. So we're going to take off the negative side terminal first. This battery is also vented to atmosphere because it's inside the vehicle. We have this little vent tube that plugs right into the side here, and it goes down and out of the vehicle so the fumes of the battery do not come into the vehicle. So we are pulling this off first, and then we're going to take off our negative side. So let's go ahead and do that. These are not very tight, and you have to remember that these connectors here are lead, so you don't want to over tighten them. You can crack these here. Well, if you crack them, you have to replace the whole battery cable here, which is the negative side. So we're going to pull that off and push it aside here. And then we're going to switch to our positive side here and loosen that side. I like this because you can turn the ratchet this way and just use it almost like a nut driver also. And just pull that back out of the way there. And set that aside. These are extremely important. You should wear these before you try to put anything on or lift anything out of the vehicle. So we're going to put these on now. And I'm going to put on my gloves here. You do not want to get battery acid in your eye. Trust me, it is really a bad thing. I have had it happen, and it is very painful. So, that is how we remove the cables and get everything prepared here. Now, in my next part of this, I'm going to need to pull the battery retaining bracket out, which is over here on this side. So give me a second, I'm going to switch around here. So here's the tools we're going to need for this. This is a 14mm deep socket. I have a nice long to medium extension here. It's not super long, but it's right in between. There are shorter ones that you can buy, many different sizes. So this is a good size because it'll get us up above the battery. And then I have the larger 3/8 swivel head ratchet. So we're going to put all that together here. Make sure we're going the right way. And let's get in here and we're going to take that bracket loose, which is this guy right down here. So let's get in there and we'll loosen up this bracket. These brackets are also usually made out of some kind of neoprene or plastic or something like that. Don't get too carried away with that either. It just needs to be snugged down so it's holding the battery in place. You get too crazy with it, you could crack it, or you could actually drive it right past the battery. It only has a little teeny thin lip on this, if you can see that there. It's not very thick, so you could break these. Let's get this set down. Now our battery is free. So we're going to flip these guys up. And then we're going to rock the battery a little bit to loosen it. And then we lift it out. And I'm going to set it right down here but in the compartment where the spare tire goes. Now I can get out of the vehicle and lift this out without leaning way over. So let's go ahead and get that out of there. Now, our positive was on the left, so we need to remember that when we put our new battery in, our positive's on the left, and these terminals are facing the vehicle. So here's our new battery. When we look at the battery, before we even put it in the car, positive's on the left. It's got that plus sign. Negative's here. So we have the proper battery. We know once we get it up in there, it's not going to be the wrong one. Once you get up in there, you don't want to have to fight with it. The negative one I always leave off. The positive one we can leave like that. And let's set this down in the trunk. Climb back in here. Watch your vent hose. Vent hose is, you can get this under the battery and you clamp it down and then you're like, oops, I just broke my vent hose. So let's not do that. There's this little tiny spot right here you could plug it into to hold it out of the way for you. Let's lift this up, get our wires back, try to move this stuff all back out of the way here. Set it down on an angle like this, see how I'm holding this side up, and then you're going to move it over. There's a lip on this side at the bottom, so that's why I'm tipping it. It just latched in. Drop it down nice and easy. Get all our wires, make sure they're all free and clear. Now we're going to put our bracket back on. So let's get that guy going here. Just kind of wiggle it around. See, it's already threaded there. It came out perfect, nice and easy. If you're fighting it, it means you didn't get it lined up right. So don't strip it. Sometimes you got to wiggle the battery or make sure you get it pushed over better. So let's get this going. We'll switch our ratchet around here. That's plenty tight right there. You don't want to crank it. Now, when we took it out, we took off the negative first. When we're putting it back in, we put on the positive first. We put on the positive first because we don't want sparks. So you put on your positive, get it nice down and snug there. We'll get our 10 millimeter on our 1/4 inch. We'll flip that around, and yeah, my gloves are worn out. So we'll go ahead and get this tightened in. Remember, not too tight. These are lead. So just kind of get it about there, and then grab it right about here. And then you kind of see how the whole battery is kind of wiggling? This isn't twisting, it's the whole battery. That's tight enough. You don't want to go any tighter. So let's do it on this side. Get this guy snug down. That's about right. Check them. See that battery? We're good. Now I'm going to pull this guy off of there because this will not work with this car. This plastic cover will not fit here. If you want, you can trim this off to put this here. But remember, on the Porsche, we have a plastic cover. It's not metal. And there's no way that this is going to break through and hit the hood because we have a full cover. So we really don't need this. So let's put that down. Now remember, our vent hose is over here. So we're going to get him, and there's this little spot right here. We're going to plug that in just like that. Now our battery's vented to the outside. Both cables are connected properly. We have a little bit of a battery tender here that we like to plug in, and in the winter time it works real good to keep this battery charged if we're not driving the vehicle. So that's how we're going to get that done. We'll move some of this stuff. Remember, when you're done with your tools, be organized. Keep your tools where you can find them. You don't want to leave a tool in your car. That's kind of dangerous, especially if you hit something or bump or something and you just lost a tool out the back of your car. So keep your stuff organized when you're working. So I'm going to get out of here. All of our tools are now on the ground. We're going to get our plastic cover here. Remember this guy? We took off in the previous video so we could test our battery. So we're going to put this guy back on there. And he's got, if you can see that, there's little clips here and here. You got to tuck these clips into there like that. And then I always put this cord right here about there. And your weather stripping is right there, so you got to kind of work it in a little bit. This clip has got a little, it's broken right here a little bit, but it still works for now. And I'll just order another one later. But there's our cover, and our new battery is now in our vehicle. So we can take these off, and thanks a lot for being here, and like and subscribe if you like the videos we're doing, and we appreciate you, and we'll see you later.